How's it going, everyone? I hope you're doing amazing. Moreno here. Today it's a beautiful day outside. It's been snowing all day, and I took this opportunity to do a little reflection about Jiu-Jitsu and particularly give you my testimony on how I started Jiu-Jitsu and how did it change my life. In the late 90s, I was a college student in Peru, and around that time there was a crazy energy going on. Not only was the end of the decade, but it was the end of the millennium, and I was just living a life of party and really not taking care of myself the way I should. One day I woke up and I realized that I wasn't happy with the way that I was conducting my lifestyle. I actually grabbed a piece of paper and draw two pictures of myself. In one of them was me in 10 years had I continued in the same path, and the other picture, the other drawing, was of myself if I made changes. When I look at those two pictures, it was clear to me that I had to make a radical change in my life. I didn't know exactly how I was gonna make that change, but definitely I realized that I had to start with my health, because even at early 20s, I felt like an old person. I remember having an old book in my house of judo techniques. I was really interested on learning those techniques, but I really never had the opportunity. I also remember watching Royce Gracie in 1993 defeat the bigger opponents, and I was really captivated by the idea of a smaller person being able to defeat bigger opponents by using Jiu-Jitsu techniques. Every day when I was taking the bus from college to my house, I would pass by a judo school, but I never really had the initiative to go and inquire about the classes. It was until I realized that I had to do something that I decided to take some of these judo classes. So I walked in the building and I didn't know what to expect. Right off the bat, when we started the warm-ups, doing push-ups and forward rolls and shrimps and crunches and squats, my body was just energized by these exercises. I remember going home feeling very happy, and the next day my body was all sore, but it was a very good kind of soreness, and I realized that I wanted to continue doing this. So I came back to keep learning judo techniques. My instructor was Pablo Salvatierra. He was a brown belt in judo, and also Professor Julio Segarra, and they were running the classes and teaching a group of students judo techniques. After the judo sessions, my professor Pablo Segarra will invite the students who wanted to stay to do some Jiu-Jitsu techniques, and I decided to stay and keep training Jiu-Jitsu techniques. Shortly after, I was not going for the judo classes. I might have taken the judo classes only for 2 months. I just will show up for the Jiu-Jitsu class because I just love the techniques and was just fully committed to learning. I remember the first days and weeks being tapped left and right by the more experienced students there, but that never discouraged me. I actually thought they can do this to me, but just because they've been training longer. If I keep training and learn these tricks, I'm gonna be able to do this to them. But it wasn't really the techniques that I loved, it was also the exercise. I would say exercising was the main reason why I started judo and then later on Jiu-Jitsu. I never tried the gym. I felt like that would be a very boring workout, and I felt that Jiu-Jitsu was engaging, challenging, and then more functional in the way you had to exercise. I trained with Professor Pablo Salvatierra for, I would say, between 9 months and 1 year, and that completely changed my life. I knew I made the right decision. I quit going to parties and dedicated to training and studying, but I knew I had to make even a more radical change. I felt like I also had to change the environment where I was living. In 2003, I came to United States, and then the story continues there, but that's gonna be another video. For now, I just wanted to share with you all who are watching and maybe are on the fence of learning Jiu-Jitsu, to tell you my story. Jiu-Jitsu changed my life in ways that I cannot even understand my life without Jiu-Jitsu nowadays. Because of Jiu-Jitsu, I learned how to take care of my health. Because of Jiu-Jitsu, I learned to be patient. Because of Jiu-Jitsu, I learned to have empathy. Because of Jiu-Jitsu, I met amazing people with the same goals. Because Jiu-Jitsu, I learned to stay calm under difficult circumstances. Because of Jiu-Jitsu, I became a more confident person, and I believe that I could achieve anything that I could do. That's the power that Jiu-Jitsu gave me. Because of Jiu-Jitsu, I learned to lose, and I learned that if you want to achieve something in your life, you're gonna have to go through ups and downs, but what is more important is how you bounce back. In Jiu-Jitsu, you get tapped a lot, and the only way to keep learning is to learn from the experience and go back on the mats again. I practiced other sports like soccer in the past, but those sports didn't have the impact that Jiu-Jitsu had on me. And I think it's because the lessons on the mats are more profound. First of all, it's just you. So if you didn't train, if you ate wrong, the mats are not gonna lie to you. The mats are gonna keep you real. And somebody's going to tap you out. So Jiu-Jitsu gives you a sense of responsibility, and it's gonna hold you accountable for your decisions. If you take bad decisions, it's gonna show on the mats. I did some Jiu-Jitsu competitions, and I like the reality of that. It will always keep me honest. There is nothing more real than somebody trying to attack you, and you have to learn how to defend yourself. A lot of times we are surrounded by fake all around us, but Jiu-Jitsu is real. And when you go to a competition, the person across the room is there to show you what you're capable of. In short, I'm very thankful for Jiu-Jitsu. I cannot imagine what if it would have been of me if I would never start learning. I feel like everybody should learn Jiu-Jitsu. It's gonna be an incredible art for kids, women, and I guess a lot of you are second guessing yourself. A lot of you are thinking that maybe you are not in shape, but I hope you take a few classes and it had the same impact, positive impact that it had for me. For the ones who are already training and you are maybe a beginner, blue belt, don't get discouraged. My master, Helson Gracie, always said this: be loyal to Jiu-Jitsu and Jiu-Jitsu will be loyal to you. I never knew exactly what he meant, but what I could understand of that phrase is that if you're loyal to your training, then the results are gonna show up. Hopefully, if we haven't met, we can meet one day and hopefully on the mats, and we can do a nice rolling, and just enjoy this beautiful art together. You guys, if you want to hear more of these stories, let me know. In the meantime, please subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you soon.